Hey y'all, welcome back. It is a rainy and drizzly day here in Central Virginia. So I thought I'll take advantage of the day and get some items done for the garden that have been on my list. I've been procrastinating and just not having enough time. But today we can get a few things done and I think it'll be fun. I forgot to turn on the microwave. Um, yeah, I'm heating up soil. I have been planting. Yesterday I planted a bunch of peppers and eggplants, and I am processing my soil in the microwave so that I've got a nice sterile medium there to work with my new nightshades. Okay, well, that's not what we're working on today, but let's go get started. Here is the big bowl of soil that I am using to get a lot accomplished yesterday and today. We will use that for today as well. So on the table, I have a lot of miscellaneous things that I need to do. Number one, which will be over the weekend or next week, we're going to plant tomato seeds. I still have not picked out my big slicers, my indeterminates, so that'll be a fun video too. Number one for this video, I'm going to start this teeny weeny container of ginger. Has some holes in the bottom. This is a yogurt tub. This is a nice shallow depth. All I need to do is get this guy sprouting. He was looking really sad in my pantry, so I decided I am going to go ahead and plant him before he shrivels up to nothing. So we're going to do that. We might start these Clancy potatoes. Maybe a milk jug is what I'm thinking for winter sowing. I have got to start my Ow, that hurt. Ow. Ow, I didn't know that would spike me. This, this guy has been in my house since 2024, summer of 2024. It used to look much prettier and it was vibrant, but now it's dull and brown and dry. So I'm going to rip it open and see if there are any viable seeds for artichokes. It is either the purple or the green globe. It came from this pack. This pack is now empty. Not sure which of the two artichokes that is, but we're going to start those seeds in a milk jug. And then I've got Wonder, and I've got some more green globe. I'm only going to start one of these in a separate milk jug. So we're going to have an experiment going. See if these seeds actually germinate, and then pick one of these guys to get going. It is a little late. I like to do artichokes mid-January, but we're okay. We'll still be fine. I'm not too worried, but I really wouldn't start much later than mid-February, maybe late February. Okay, so we're going to do that. I've got my peas germinating. You can see there's some little sprouts. It's Sugar Ann. So we're going to plant them. I'll talk more about those in a minute when we put them in our little containers. I bought these today. I've never used these. I've always heard bad things about them. But I did not do any poppies. I didn't start any winter sowing. I didn't do anything. I didn't just throw seeds outside like I normally do. So I'm going to do a new thing this year. I'm going to expand these. I'm going to cut some slits so that the roots have an easier time when they go in the ground. And I'm going to plant the poppy seed, and then I'm going to freeze the whole container in my freezer for a short while. I don't know how long, maybe a week or two. And then I'm going to move them outside. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Because poppies really don't like their roots disturbed. So I thought this would be a quick and easy way to get the job done. And then over here, I've got 2 more yogurt containers. My daughter tried these yogurts a couple weeks ago, and she absolutely loved them. I did try a bite of each. They are very decadent, I tell you, but they do have a lot of fat. So we're going to have snow cactus alyssum and compact alyssum. And I've got the seeds here. We could winter sow these in a milk jug, but I thought, why not just ad lib? And then after we plant them, we're going to put them in this strawberry container and put them outside. So we got to get that done. Something I really need to do today is place a seed order. I need some banana peppers, I need some wax peppers, and I need some jalapeno peppers. I've already started my peppers yesterday, but I think it'll be okay. I think they ship pretty quickly. I hope if I get them by the end of the week or, next week, I think we'll be fine. Okay. Oh, there's one more thing. I'll show you. It is raining, but I'll run out there super quick to show you. We are going to give our onions haircuts and pot them up. Yep, I guess I could go ahead and bring him inside. And then I've got different things, winter sown, growing in there. I wish we didn't have all this rain though. Okay, back inside. We'll let him dry out a little bit. And then we're probably just going to cut about 2+ inches off of each onion. And then I've got some little small cell trays we're going to pot each individual onion into, as well, and also the peas will go into those little teeny weeny cells. And you guys haven't seen my pepper video yet because I haven't posted it. In that video, I talk about my beautiful black petunia, and I'm going to let you guys see it too. Lovely, yes. Oh my goodness, it just makes my heart. I absolutely love this plant. I think I love this plant more as a house plant than when he's outside. I don't know why. This is second year for me to have the black slingshot petunia in my house, and I am just in love. Love this plant so much. I don't know if you can tell how truly black this flower is, but it's just beautiful. And I have a bunch more to come. And here are the trays. You can see they are fairly small. I just washed everything, disinfected, little bleach water, my soapy water, nice and warm, scrubbed, rinsed. I did not thoroughly dry, but I think everything's okay. But 1/16 tray here, 16 cells. So I think I've got about 32 onions or so, and I'm not sure how many peas we've got. Might have to wash some more trays, but I think this is enough to get started. We've already got all that soil ready, and it is slightly warmish, but we will definitely be watering our trays, but not soaking wet, just moist, nice moist growing environment. Time of year I normally direct sow my peas. Like third week of February is perfect, and our 10-day forecast is pretty awesome. So I could have direct sown these, but I've been having such issues with the roly-polies and other pests eating my pea seeds, and that is why I'm taking the extra step this year to plant, get them about 4 inches tall, and then we will plant them into the ground. So how did I get my peas sprouted? All I did, I filled this container up with water, and I let them soak for 24 hours. And then I drained the water, and then I put a wet paper towel on top. And they just sprouted. It just took several days, maybe 3 to 4, maybe 5 at the most. But you can see the little bitty roots coming out there, right? So I'm just going to drop 1 pea into each cell. And it doesn't really matter, you know, I'm not going to be perfect about putting it right set up or not, because they will self-orient. I'm not worried about it. So we're just going to stick him. And seed packets for peas usually say 1/2 to 1 inch deep. I always thought that a whole inch was kind of like deep for my peas, especially if I'm direct sowing in clay. So I usually do 1/2 inch. So I think if I backfill this cell, we will be at about 1/2 inch. There we go. Perfect. Now that guy is planted. So I'm just going to keep doing that for all of the peas, and then I will show you the end result. They will be going outside. This whole tray, even with the onions, will be going outside. My onions are already hardened off. They've been outside, goodness, 4 or 5 days already, and they've been happy outside. They've even been outside at night. Yeah, we got over all that ice. Now we're back to normal. So these guys will stay outside. If I do get a frost before they're in the ground, I may consider putting them in my garage, but not the warm house, just in the cool-ish garage. So we've got our 2 trays of sugar and done. I think I'm going to start 1 tray of the spring blush. This is a beautiful flower when it produces its flowers before it makes the pods. It's just a really pretty color. It is 70 days to maturity, which I like to grow the lower range in the spring because it will get hot really quick, but I think we'll be okay. So we're going to try just 1 tray with the spring blush, and I'm not going to pre-soak them because remember, as soon as we're done with this tray, it's going right outside in the rain. It's going to rain all day today, and I think it's going to rain again this weekend. Peas are done. Now I'm going to work on the onions real quick. I want to give them a haircut first, and you can see they're kind of falling over from the rain. So I can do it one of 2 ways. I could give them a haircut and then separate them and plant them. Or I could separate them, trim them, and then plant them. And that's probably what I'm going to do today. I inverted the tray, and now I'm just going to put them over like that. And then we're just going to slowly work out each plant. There's one. Maybe we should count them as we go, or not. There's another one. The roots are kind of wiry and thin, so separating isn't too difficult. I have really never had much trouble. It does seem a little bit harder with the soil being so damp. Oh, this one's stuck a little. Yep. Come on, guy. He's got a long root. Very long root. Okay, so we've got 4. There's 5. Oopsie. Come here. 6. 7. All right, I'm gonna pause because you guys don't want to watch me count all these guys, right? There's looks like a little guy that didn't make it. Okay, another little guy that didn't make it. We're not gonna worry with the ones that aren't very strong. There we go. See how beautifully they just kind of slide out. Look at how long the roots are. All right, I'm gonna keep working here, get them all separated, and then I'll be back in just a second. So there's so many. There's more than I thought. So what I'm gonna do, you see I've got him. I'm just gonna bring him over here to my tray that I've already prepared. And I'm gonna cut off on this one. I'm just gonna cut off probably an inch off the top. And then I'm gonna bury him just a wee bit past into the white, but not all the way past the white. Just to give him some stability, just a wee bit of the white, just past where the roots are coming out. And that's gonna be our bulb eventually, that teeny weeny little thing. You can see it's already starting to get a second set of a leaf. First, just this big long one came out, and now we've got the second little guy coming out. And here we go. Let's just give him a little clip. If you want to save these, you can eat those, absolutely. They're a little bit little to work with right now, I think, but if you wanted to eat them, you sure could. And we're just going to tuck those roots in there. And then we'll just kind of backfill slightly-ish. Who has his own space now. You can still see a little bit of the white. And he should have enough support with the soil to straighten up soon. Okay, so I got all of the onions trimmed and re-potted up, and I've got 8 empty cells. So I'm going to put a couple seeds with this slow bolt lettuce into each cell, because you can never have too much lettuce, right? So in total, I've got 40 little candy onion starts. And then we've got these 3 trays with our peas. And now we need to move on and work on, what should we do next? Maybe the artichoke. It is 9:20 in the morning, and it looks like it's almost night. It's just so dreary and dark out here. The rain is starting to pick up, so I'm going to move my tray that I completed last night underneath this big planter because the rain is starting to pelt quite aggressively, and we don't want to disturb those little onions with their fine little roots. So now that we've got the peas, the onions taken care of, got a few more lettuce seeds started, we are going to tackle this artichoke. And I'm going to be more careful so that we don't get spiked again. I mean, that was pretty painful. So you do want to be careful when you're harvesting your artichokes. Sometimes there are spikes. There is also no guarantee there are seeds in here, guys. I picked the flower while it was still opening, and it was so purple and pretty, so there may not be any seeds. Usually you want to wait until it's completely brown and mature, and I have a feeling there are no viable seeds in here. But I'm kind of liking the fluff. Look at that. It almost looks like doll hair, like Barbie doll hair. It is so fun. It's kind of cool. I wonder what I could do with that. I don't need to collect any more stuff, but it is really cool. It's got a great texture. I may just put this out for the birds. They can make a nice fluffy little nest with some of this. And I really don't think I'm going to find any seeds, but I could be wrong. This is kind of fun though. Let's see. Let's keep going. Yeah, I think we harvested the flower And I did that just so I could have a pretty flower. I wasn't doing it to collect seeds, but I was curious if there were seeds in here. And I do not see any. But that was a fun experiment. So I have immature seeds. At the end of these tufts, they are kind of like tufts of fur. Like I pull tufts of fur out of my dog. I think if we had waited, these would have developed maybe into the flower seeds. But I could be wrong. I don't see anything that would look like a seed. And I will show you what the seeds... Well, wait a minute. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. What do we got? Nothing. Well, okay. At least we had fun opening that. Playing with the hairs of the artichoke flower. But sadly, I do not see anything that is a seed. But it does appear that perhaps with time they develop in this area. This is just a hypothesis at this point on my... I really have not harvested the seeds before. I've only just cooked the artichokes, and this is the first time I ever harvested a flower. Now these kind of look like seeds, but they are definitely not the size of an artichoke seed. So yeah, just immature, I guess. This is kind of cool. Look at all the fluff it made. It's gonna make some birdies really happy outside. I'll put this in like a shallow dish and put it out there by the birds feeding area. It's kind of cool. Ouch, until you get spiked. Now what is it that is spiking me? Something in here. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna get rid of this. This is what the artichoke seeds look like. They're big. The plants, the seedlings are big. Just a gorgeous, fun plant to grow. It's possible that mine were able to overwinter, but we had 3 to 4, almost 5 weeks of extreme cold that is abnormal. So sometimes my artichokes are perennial here, unless we have a really awkward, weird winter where they're getting too much cold for too long, or I failed to insulate my artichokes properly before we went into a normal winter. I did check on mine a few weeks ago. I don't think they're going to make it. They could surprise me, but the crowns were squishy. So I'm going to go ahead and restart. I would like to have maybe 4 to 6 plants of my own. I really like these as deer deterrent. They will block deers from entering certain pathways because they do get spiky. The deer do not touch them. They do not eat them. They avoid them. So we just have to decide which ones do we want to start. The Wonder or the one I grow most often, which is Green Globe. Green Globe and Wonder can be a perennial down to zone 7. I'm a zone 7B/8A. So in theory, they should be a perennial every year. They do need a little love though in the fall before you go into winter. That's just my experience. So let's consider this. This is a hybrid. This is an heirloom. This, I might get some fruits in 80 days. This one can take up to 120. So since we are getting a super late start, it is February the 19th or 20th at this point, we're going to go ahead and try the Wonder for the first time. I've never grown this one. It's just a green artichoke. Yeah, there's only 10 seeds. I think I'm going to go ahead and start the whole pack. I think maybe I'll just do 8 and save 2 for emergencies. It's probably a 3-year-old pack though, so I'm tempted to do just all of them and see what happens. And looking online, there are some mixed reviews on the Wonder seed versus the Green Globe. Very consistent, steady, positive reviews. But I think I need to grow this for myself so I know. And if it does produce more and earlier and better than the Green Globe, that would be awesome. I do love harvesting artichokes to eat, to cook. The only thing is, I will just warn you guys, if you decide to grow these, the earwigs, if you have earwigs in your area, they love artichoke flowers, the bulbs. They will hide in there in every little leaf. When you go to clean these guys, I soak mine in salt water. for a really long time, you will have so many earwigs crawling out. It'll make you kind of not want to eat the fruit, but the flower. Eat the flower. It's not a fruit, it's a flower. But once you get all the earwigs out, so delicious. Yeah. I don't know, maybe earwigs are extra protein, but they're so creepy, they scare me. They have the little clamps, like a little lobster coming to get you, to pinch you. Anyways, we're going to go with the Wonder. I know I'm rambling this morning, guys. I haven't even finished my coffee yet. Let me go get a milk jug set up. And so the other thing is that I have started these indoors under grow lights. I have also winter sown them for the last 3 to 4 years, and that is my preference, because these guys will take up a ton of space in your grow station if you start them indoors. Now, they can go out at a certain point. They can take some cooler temperatures. They are frost tolerant, but they can die in a freeze, especially if you have little seedlings. The tricky part is, at some point before you transplant them in the ground, they need to get a period of cold vernalization where you have some cold temperatures in the 40s and 50s, but not freezing temperatures, say below 35, would be really hard on them as a young seedling. But they need that cold period to activate the flowering and get your, your harvest. So it's kind of tricky, and I find that doing the winter sowing gives me a lot of good exposure up and down in temperatures for these seedlings, but still protective because they're in that milk jug with a little bit of extra insulation from the warm air that's trapped during the day. Depending on your growing zone, winter sowing may or may not work with the artichokes. You just kind of have to know your coldest temperatures and last frost is, and if you can give your artichoke that time period of the cold. It's like 2 weeks of exposure to cold but not freezing. So some people may have to start theirs indoors, but for me, after doing 3-4 years experimenting with the winter sowing, this works for my growing location and temperatures and all that. So the seed packet actually had 18 seeds, so I'm going to start 8. This soil is a brand new bag I just bought. It's not been moistened. Normally I kind of moisten my winter sowing soil, but I'm going to stick this outside in the rain with the lid open for today. I'll close it tonight because I want the rain to kind of moisten my soil. And I am going to add all that extra soil right over there. And so I think the artichokes will be happy. You do want to use potting mix for winter sowing that has fertilizer built in. You want to make sure you've got holes. Sometimes I put holes on the side, I put holes on the bottom. Artichokes like good, draining, rich soil. Even when they get in the ground, they need to not be standing in water, but they need to stay moist, and they need just rich environment because they are heavy feeders. So, and then also you can see I cut a lid hinge here. I cut all the way around but left the hinge with the milk jug intact. This milk jug looks a little funky, and I think actually these puncture holes are from Tonto. He got a hold of this milk jug when it was outside and destroyed it. But you do take the lid off, you throw the lid away, you don't need that anymore, or recycle if you can recycle in your area milk jug lids. And so that's all we're going to do. We're just going to plant, stick this out in the rain. Tonight I will put the lid back down. I may at some point need a piece of tape depending on our weather. All of a sudden there's a chance we might get snow Sunday night, which I thought we were completely done with all that cold weather. But let's just check artichoke winter sowing off our list and get moving to something else. And now we're going to move along to planting some poppies. I've got these peat pellets, never used before. Hopefully I don't regret it. I don't think I will though. I think this will be super simple and easy. This is a procrastinator's way to plant your poppies. So you get a nice, beautiful spring bouquet of poppy flowers. Mine usually blooms somewhere in May. So I've got rainwater from outside, and a little leftover soil was in the bottom of this container, and I just going to leave the water here. I'm going to put the pellets in and let them absorb the water, the rainwater. So there's so much nutrients in there, right? Like, after I bought these at Lowe's, I looked online and you can actually get them much cheaper off Amazon, like huge boxes. So if I love this, I will order a big old box for much cheaper. And it appears that you've got the bottom and the top. This has to be the top, which makes it nice to have a little indentation there to put your seed. This one is not as clear. So I'm thinking I'm going to let these soak. I have no idea how long it'll take. And then I'm going to put some slits on the side. My only reservation with these is I'm afraid will the roots get trapped? Like, can they break out of this mesh kind of container that holds the soil? I don't know. That's what I'm worried about. And remember, the poppies roots do not like to be disturbed at all. So when I plant these, I just want to be able to pop them in the ground without having to do anything. So if I'm going to make the cuts, I'm going to do it before I put the seeds in. We'll see. We'll see what these look like when they absorb the water. I have no idea. I also have no idea how many will fit in this container. I don't know. Are they going to double in size? I have no experience. I'll just put a few more and hope that this will be a nice filled container when they're all hydrated. And surely it's not going to hold many more than this, right? Okay, does that look about right? There we go. So I'm just going to let this absorb and come back and check on it in a little bit. All right, so we're going to go with the Parks peony mix of poppy. It says there's 100 seeds in here. This kind of doesn't look like 100 seeds, but what I'm going to do is just sprinkle all on top. And you can see that the little plugs hydrated fairly well, and they act like they might deteriorate easily. I can pull on this and it rips. So I think I'm not going to take the time to go through and cut slits. I'm just going to let them be, and hopefully our poppies do fine. So I'm just going to sprinkle, and this is a mix. I'll put a picture right here of various different colors of poppies. You can see the tiny seeds, and they need light to germinate. So we're just gonna, well, I might have to use my hand a little bit here. Just sprinkle. Hopefully they end up where they need to be. Okay, so they're done. I'm gonna put saran wrap over top, and this is going into my deep freezer out in the garage. Probably at least 1 to 2 weeks. And if we get a lot of nice cold weather coming up, I'll just stick them outside. It has been warm this past week, but I do think we could get some cool weather in the upcoming days. I'll check the weather. If it's going to be nice and cool, I will stick them outside. Otherwise, my plan is to put them in the freezer, and I think that is exactly what I'll do. I had a few plugs that I went ahead and put some of the Bride Bachelor button seeds in. And for the Bachelor buttons, yeah, they need some cold stratification. A little, not like poppies. They'll be fine just to go outside since we've got a few cool days coming. You know, a week of cool weather will be good for them. And I did have to put a teeny bit of soil on top of the seeds. And I think they will germinate just fine because they've got a nice little greenhouse effect going here with the tomato container. I also went ahead and started some dwarf polka dot Bachelor buttons. I just put 2 seeds per plug. And the reason I'm using these for my Bachelor buttons is because they also, like a poppy, do not like to have their roots disturbed. And I'm just going to sprinkle like a wee bit of soil on top, moist it again with the mister, and then I'm just going to stick these outside. And I think we'll have a nice collection of the white flower or Bachelor button, whichever you want to call it, and then we'll have this mix. And it's a dwarf, so that'll be nice, more compact than how tall your regular cornflowers can get. And there is a variety that I absolutely love, and I'm out of seeds. As I'm doing these videos, I'm realizing I'm actually out of a lot of different seeds that come to mind. And one is, I think it's called Purple Boy or Purple Prince or Dark Purple Bachelor button. Very pretty. So I'll put a picture of this one here. It does have some purple in it. And for our sweet alyssum, I've got both of the containers ready. I moistened the soil. We're just going to sprinkle on top for each variety. And that's it, because they need some light to germinate. They're very teeny tiny seeds. And then I will stick this outside, and we will have some sweet alyssum, hopefully, here in the near future. And I'm going to densely sow. So there will be a lot of plants, and we'll have to separate those later at some point. But for now, we're just worried about germination. Most of the seeds you see me starting today, it's all about getting them germinated, and then we'll deal with the seedlings at a later point. So this says alyssum, and it says compacta, but these are huge seeds. Look at how big. I do not think this is my sweet alyssum. I'm going to look this up real quick. I'll put a picture of what that was. I kind of stopped sowing the seeds when I realized how huge they were. And so I'm going to leave them be, and I'm anxious to see what this is. Let's look. Let's get a picture on the screen. Okay, so evidently this is some kind of perennial, and it is fine for my growing zone. It is useful as a ground cover on rocks, like a rock garden between pavers. And the reviews from the website state that it has very poor germination. So if none of those germinate, well, at least if a couple germinate, that'll be great. I'm half tempted to sow the whole pack, but I'm not going to do that. We'll just see what happens, and then find a place to put this plant. These are ready for outside. I'm going to sow this entire container package of mustard. This is going to be used to control some nematode activity in one of my tomato beds. So I'm using a huge pack. So I'm going to use this salad container. We're going to put holes in the bottom. I'm going to fill it up with about 3 inches of soil, and I'm going to cut some holes on the top. And we're just working to get this germinated. Once it's germinated and the seedlings are growing, I'm going to transfer them to that tomato bed. This is just a temporary thing to get these growing pretty quickly, and I think it'll work out great. All right, y'all, the last thing we're going to get done today, and I do feel like I have been so productive, getting so much done. I did miss these guys. These are those gingers that I wanted to get to sprouting. I'm going to add some of this mulchy stuff from the soil I've been picking out to use for drainage. I think that will be helpful. I'm going to put a little bit here on the bottom. Not a lot. Doesn't have to be a lot. And then I'm going to mist this. And then I'm just going to put these guys back in. Now, ideally, a larger container would be preferable, but I will be potting these guys up as soon as it starts to get warmer outside. So I think we're going to be good. And I'm just going to backfill with about, I don't know, 1 inch or so of soil, 1 to 2 inches. And then I'm going to mist this, water it a little bit, and then we're good. We should see some sprouting in a month or so, maybe 6 weeks. Just have to keep it in a warm location. I'll put it in my kitchen window where it's got bright light, and I'm going to keep it moist but not wet. I start a larger container of ginger like 3 days ago when I did my peppers, and this ginger was more kind of sus looking, so I wasn't sure how well it would do, but I'm giving it a shot. And the way I'm doing this method is this container, it's a lunch meat container. There are holes on the bottom. This one has no holes on the bottom, so the water that drains will be collected there. And then I keep this saran wrap on top, and I keep it over in my bay window where it stays warm and there is light, even though it doesn't really need light yet because there are no shoots. That takes quite a while with ginger. You'll see. We're talking maybe 6 to 8 weeks before I see something break the surface. 4 weeks if we're lucky, but that seems really quick to me. So I'm going to put him back over in the window, but I just wanted to share another method for planting your garlic to get it sprouted. And once you get each individual chunk sprouted, you can repot it into whatever container you'd like it to be in. Eventually my ginger will be outside as soon as we get past our last frost date. Very productive video. So glad that you were here to motivate me. Thank you so much. I need to put some of these seeds away, and then my family can actually use the table again because it's almost clear. I do have to still continue going through my tomato seeds. So far I've got these guys selected for 2026. I still have to go through my slicers and or indeterminates. I'm going to try to keep it under 8 from that category. So we will be starting tomatoes here very soon. So that will be one of the upcoming videos. If you found anything in this video helpful, I would appreciate a like, a thumbs up. But just thanks for being here. And comments, that is what keeps me going on this channel. It's all of y'all's wonderful, wonderful comments. All right, well, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.